She thought she could take everything from me and walk away smiling. So I married her sister and made sure she watched. This isn't your typical love story. It's a brutal tale of betrayal, heartbreak, and the ultimate revenge. When your fiancé chooses money over love, what do? Most would walk away. Me? I burned everything down, then rebuilt it right in front of her face. With her own sister by my side. Buckle up, because this isn't a fairy tale. It's a firestorm. Before dig into the story, please like this video and subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you. You ever feel like everything is just perfect? That was me. 6 months ago, I thought I had it all. A beautiful fiancée, Sarah, a successful business, a big house with a pool, and a Tesla parked in the driveway. Everything I ever worked for was finally coming together. We were planning our wedding, our future kids' names, even the dog breed we'd get. I thought I hit the jackpot. Sarah was sweet, smart, gorgeous. She came from a modest background, nothing flashy, but that never mattered to me. I was raised to believe in love over status. So I showered her with everything she deserved. Gifts, vacations, and most importantly, trust. Complete, unshakable trust. She always played the supportive role. Cooking dinner when I came home late. Laughing at my jokes even when they were trash. She had that sparkle in her eyes that made me believe she was all in. Or at least, that's what I wanted to believe. We met through mutual friends at a charity gala. She wore this emerald green dress that made her look like royalty. I was there in a basic black suit, feeling out of place among CEOs and politicians. But when she walked over to me with that shy smile and said, "You look like you're trying to disappear," I laughed harder than I had in weeks. We clicked. After that, it moved fast. Dinners turned into weekends. Weekends turned into shared closet. 6 months later, we were engaged. She wasn't just my partner, she became part of my identity. My family adored her. My mom called her the daughter I never had. My friends were envious. They'd say, "Bro, she's a catch. Don't mess this up." I took her to Paris for her birthday. Surprised her with a diamond necklace in front of the Eiffel Tower. We took selfies, kissed under the lights, lived like we were in a movie. That night, she whispered, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me." I believed her. She moved into my house. Slowly, but surely, her presence filled every corner. Scented candles, designer bags, organic tea, monogram towels with our initials. I loved it, loved her. Every morning, she kissed me goodbye before I headed to work. Every evening, she asked about my day. She pretended to care about supply chains and logistics when I vented about my business. She made me feel seen. I didn't realize then that I was being studied, analyzed, that every question she asked, every hug she gave, every tear she shed, they were all investments. Investments for her payout. But in that moment, I felt like the luckiest man alive. Until things started to shift. It began with little things. She stopped texting me during the day. No more cute selfies or "I miss you" messages. At first, I thought maybe she was just busy. But then she stopped wanting to go out. Date nights became TV dinners. Her phone never left her hand, and when it rang, she always went into another room to answer. Once, I came home early to surprise her with flowers. I found her sitting on the couch, giggling into her phone. When she saw me, she jumped and shoved it under a pillow. Said it was her sister. "That's funny," I said, "because your sister just texted me asking if we wanted to come over." She laughed it off. Claimed it was an old message. My gut said otherwise. Then there was the money. She started asking weird questions. How much did my business make this month? Did I max out my investments? Who had access to the safe? Why are you asking all this? I joked one night. "Just curious," she said, giving me that same sweet smile that used to make me melt. But this time, it felt different. It felt calculated. Still, I ignored it. I chalked it up to wedding stress, cold feet, maybe even hormones. I made every excuse for her because the truth was too painful to accept. I had no idea then that the woman I loved, the woman I trusted with everything, had already started writing the script for my downfall. You know how in movies, they say, "I noticed something was off?" Yeah, that happened. The signs were everywhere. Once you're out of the love fog, it's almost comical how obvious they are. But when you love someone, you wear blinders. Thick, stubborn blinders. Sarah suddenly became distant, not just physically, but emotionally. Her hugs didn't linger like they used to. Her kisses were rushed, distracted. Her eyes stopped sparkling when she looked at me. I caught her zoning out during conversations. When I asked what was wrong, she'd say, "Just tired." Tired. That was her favorite word. Tired of work. Tired of the wedding planning. Tired of people. Tired of talking. But not tired of texting. I noticed her thumbs were always going, her phone screen lighting up at all hours. She claimed it was her sister, her mom, or work group chats. I didn't push. I didn't want to be the controlling guy. Then one Saturday afternoon, I saw a message flash on her screen. It said, "Did he find out yet?" When I asked her about it, she panicked. Said it was a joke from her friend Jess. Something about a bridal shower prank. "You know how girls are," she giggled, avoiding eye contact. I forced a laugh. But deep down, something cracked. It wasn't just doubt. It was fear. I started watching her more closely. Not stalking or snooping, just observing. Paying attention to the things I used to overlook. Like how she never let go of her phone. Even in the shower, it was within reach. Or how she started dressing nicer when I wasn't around. Red lipstick. Heels. Perfume she never wore for me. "Where you headed?" I'd ask. "Just brunch with the girls." But there were no selfies, no stories posted. For someone who loved documenting her life, she suddenly went off the radar whenever she left the house without me. I started questioning myself. Was I being paranoid? Insecure? Overthinking? So I talked to my best friend Nate. "Bro," he said, "you're not crazy. If your gut is screaming, listen to it. Women like Sarah don't just switch up for no reason." That stuck with me. So I did the one thing I never thought I'd do. I checked her laptop. She left it open one day while taking a nap. My hands were shaking, heart pounding so loud I swore it would wake her up. I opened her email. And that's when my world shattered. There were emails to someone named Marcus. Dozens of them. Some flirty. Some detailed. But all damning. They were planning a life together. Talking about our money, his account, and even mocking me. "He thinks I'm excited about the wedding. LOL. Soon as the prenup is gone, we ghost. He just increased the savings account. Jackpot." I wanted to throw the laptop across the room. Scream. Wake her up and demand answers. But I didn't. Because right there, in that moment of devastation, something inside me hardened. I realized I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to get even. And it would be the sweetest thing she never saw coming. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her laughing with Marcus, spending my money, plotting my ruin. And she was lying right there next to me like nothing was wrong. That's when I realized I couldn't let her know I knew. Not yet. Not until I had everything I needed. Over the next week, I became an actor. Oscar-worthy. I kissed her on the forehead every morning, brought her coffee, asked her about wedding colors and table centerpieces. I pretended to be the same guy she'd been manipulating for months. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I went into overdrive. First, I met with my financial advisor and lawyer. We created new accounts under a trust. Transferred funds gradually, carefully. I even opened a business branch in a different state under a shell name. Second, I updated the prenup. Sarah didn't know it was still valid. She'd been working on getting it voided by accidentally misfiling paperwork. But my lawyer caught it just in time. We cleaned it up and ensured it was tighter than a locked vault. Third, I got smart with documentation. I backed up all emails, exported chats, and used a security app to screen record activity. I installed a hidden camera in my home office, where she often borrowed my laptop. And then, like clockwork, she walked right into it. One night, she thought I was out golfing. I watched from my phone as she sat at my desk, logged into my financial dashboard, and tried to snoop into my investments. She even took photos with her phone. I had her, dead to rights. And yet, I said nothing. Because the thing about revenge? Timing is everything. What made it even more painful and more motivating was how cold she was. She'd smile at me like nothing was happening, send me memes, kiss me goodnight. It was like living with a stranger wearing the face of the woman I love. And Marcus? He was worse. From what I gathered, he was using her. He wasn't in it for love, he was in it for the potential payout. She thought she was playing me, but he was playing her too. They deserved each other. Every detail came together like a blueprint for justice. But the real twist? That came when I accidentally bumped into her sister, Emily. We ran into each other at a local grocery store. It was awkward at first. Emily always seemed quieter, more reserved. The opposite of Sarah's flashy energy. "Hey," she said. "How are the wedding plans going?" I hesitated. "They're coming along." She tilted her head. "You don't seem excited." I gave her a sad smile. "Let's just say I've got a lot on my mind." She paused for a moment, then leaned in and whispered, Can I tell you something? I don't know if it's my place. But I overheard Sarah saying something about a guy named Marcus. I don't know what it means, but it didn't sound good. Boom. Confirmation. Emily didn't know the full story, but her gut told her something wasn't right. And in that moment, she unknowingly became my ally. The look in her eyes told me she wasn't like her sister. And that made me think, maybe I had an ace up my sleeve I hadn't even considered yet. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was strategic. She played the long game, so I would too. But I'd play it smarter. The final act was coming. And she had no idea what I had in store. After my run-in with Emily, the puzzle started snapping into place. I wasn't just chasing revenge anymore, I was engineering it. Emily and I started texting. Then calling. I didn't tell her everything right away, just enough to let her know Sarah was into something shady. Emily wasn't surprised. In fact, she started opening up about things she'd noticed for years, how Sarah always aimed for the rich guy, how she manipulated people, even how she treated family like chess pieces. One day we met up for lunch again. Emily brought a folder. Inside? Screenshots from Sarah's private Instagram account, where she was posting pictures with Marcus under fake captions. She had tagged the locations wrong, but Emily, being the observant sister she was, recognized the places. One photo was from Marcus's apartment balcony, which Sarah had claimed was a yoga retreat. "She's getting reckless," Emily said. "Good," I replied. "That's exactly what I want." Now, the trap had to be perfect. I wasn't going to just expose her. I was going to destroy the illusion she built, tear it down in front of everyone. The wedding was a few weeks away. Invitations had been sent. Venue was booked. Sarah was fully immersed in last-minute planning, tasting cake samples, choosing napkin colors, obsessing over flower arrangements. Meanwhile, I was playing the long game. I met with my lawyer again and set up two things. A private investigator to tail Marcus and document everything. A pressurized financial freeze on our joint account, effective 24 hours before the wedding. I also contacted a friend from college who was a wedding videographer. I told him to bring an extra camera and keep it pointed at Sarah during the rehearsal dinner. I had plans. But that wasn't enough. I wanted the moment she realized she lost everything to be burned into her memory. Not quietly, not gently, but publicly. So I came up with the perfect scene. At the rehearsal dinner, with family and friends present, I'd call for a toast. Then I'd show a video. Not a slideshow of baby photos. No, this would be a highlight reel of her lies. A curated nightmare of texts, emails, photos, and secret recordings. But I needed one last confirmation. One final piece. So I baited her. I told Sarah I was moving a large sum of money to a high-yield investment account for our future honeymoon home. I left the paperwork on my desk intentionally. That night, while pretending to be asleep, I heard her creep out of bed and tiptoe to my office. 10 minutes later, I got the notification. She had tried logging into the fake shell account I set up. A trap account. The next day, I checked the security footage. There she was, taking pictures of my laptop screen. Again. That was it. The stage was set. The cameras were ready. The audience would be full. All I had to do now was wait. And when it happened, when it all came crashing down, I wouldn't say a word. I'd let the truth speak for itself. The week before the wedding, Emily and I had coffee again. She was quiet for a bit, then asked, "Do you still love her?" That question hit me like a freight train. I stared into my cup for a while, watching the steam rise. "I don't know," I said. "Maybe I love who I thought she was." Emily nodded. "She fooled all of us." She pulled out her phone and showed me more screenshots. This time, it wasn't just messages. It was voice notes Sarah had sent to her friend Jess. She'd been ranting about how she couldn't wait to get her freedom money, and how she planned to leave the country with Marcus. Emily's hands trembled as she played them. "I'm sorry. I just couldn't stay quiet anymore." It was hard to believe someone as genuine and grounded as Emily was related to someone like Sarah. But it was in that moment, watching her stare down at her phone with tears in her eyes, that I saw something I hadn't noticed before. She cared. About me. About what was right. And maybe, just maybe, there was more between us than a shared mission. As the big day got closer, Sarah acted more affectionate than ever. She hugged me longer. Cooked dinner again. Left cute sticky notes on the fridge. She was laying it on thick, probably trying to keep me calm before the heist. But I had rehearsed my role well. "Can't wait to marry you," she whispered one night, her head on my chest. I smiled at the ceiling. Me too. The rehearsal dinner arrived. Everything looked perfect. Fairy lights twinkled. Music played softly. Guests were laughing and clinking glasses. Sarah floated through the room in a white cocktail dress, eating up every compliment. I waited until dessert. Then I stood and raised my glass. Before we toast to love, I said, I made something for Sarah, a little tribute, a video of memories and moments. Sarah's smile widened. She clapped. Everyone turned to the screen. Then it began. The first few seconds were sweet, us laughing, dancing, traveling. Then came the shift. A screen-recorded video of Sarah messaging Marcus. Emails titled, Our Plan, with attachments. A video of her logging into the fake account. Voice notes laughing about me being clueless. The room fell silent. Gasp. Forks hitting plates. Someone whispered, Oh my God. Sarah went pale. Her smile vanished. She looked at me, eyes wide, mouth open. I set my glass down and walked out. Emily met me outside. That was brutal. I nodded. She earned every second. That night, Sarah called 23 times. Left voicemails. Sent essays begging for forgiveness. Said it was a mistake. That she loved me. That Marcus was nothing. I didn't respond. And the next day, I cancelled the wedding. But not everything was lost. Because something unexpected had taken root. And it had Emily's name written all over it. The morning after I cancelled the wedding, I woke up feeling strangely calm. It wasn't the peace of someone moving on, it was the stillness after a storm. Sarah, meanwhile, was a disaster. She showed up at my house twice, pounding on the door, crying, yelling. My security camera caught everything. I didn't even open the door. I watched from my office, sipping coffee, and muted the volume. She left notes, dozens of them. On my windshield, in the mailbox, slipped under the front door. Everything from desperate apologies to threats to emotional manipulation. I know I messed up, but I love you. You don't know the full story. You're ruining my life. Marcus was a mistake. You are my future. And then the last one. I'll make you pay for embarrassing me. That's when I blocked her completely. I told my lawyer to send a cease and desist. I also shared everything with my PI, just in case. I wasn't taking chances. Emily, on the other hand, stayed by my side. She checked in regularly. Brought over food. Made sure I wasn't spiraling. But the truth was, I wasn't just surviving, I was planning again. This time, not revenge. Something better. One evening, a few weeks after the storm, we went on a walk. The sun was setting, casting this orange glow over everything. We talked about life, love, and family. I asked her how she had managed to grow up in the same house as Sarah and still turn out so grounded. She laughed. Maybe it was watching her get everything she wanted and realizing I didn't want to be like that. That stuck with me. We walked in silence for a bit, then she stopped and looked at me. I don't want to be a rebound, she said gently. You're not, I said. You're the reminder that good still exists. We kissed under the street lamp. It wasn't fiery or wild. It was soft, honest, healing. From then on, we didn't try to rush things. No grand declarations. No labels. Just two people recovering from the wreckage of someone else's lies. And day by day, step by step, I started to feel whole again. One morning, she came over with coffee and croissants. You know what I was thinking, she said, sitting on the couch with her legs tucked up. What? Let's take a trip. Just disappear for a few days. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere nobody knows us. I smiled. Like a honeymoon, but without the wedding. She grinned. Exactly. That's how we ended up in a little cabin by the lake, 3 hours out of the city. No phones. No drama. Just nature, a fireplace, and the sound of peace. We played cards, cooked together, talked about everything, laughed until our stomachs hurt. And one night, while watching the stars, she whispered, I never thought I'd be the one you'd end up with. I took her hand. Neither did I. But I'm glad it's you. Because in the ruins of the life I thought I wanted, I found the one I truly needed. Coming back from that lake trip, I knew something had shifted. I wasn't just healing anymore, I was falling for Emily. And this time, it wasn't because she reminded me of someone else or filled a void. It was because she was her. The kind of woman who showed up when it mattered, stood by me when it was hardest, and didn't ask for anything in return. We started spending more time together. She'd swing by on Fridays with Thai food, and we'd binge old crime documentaries. She got along with my friends, even won over my skeptical mom who had been heartbroken by the whole Sarah ordeal. Then one day, while I was sorting out some final details with my lawyer, Emily came with me. When we stepped outside, she said, I didn't expect any of this. Not from how it started. I looked at her. Do you regret it? She shook her head. Not even for a second. A few months passed, and Sarah faded into the background. I heard through mutual friends that Marcus left her once she realized there was no money to grab. She tried dating someone else in a rush, but it didn't last. The girl who thought she could play everyone ended up alone. Then came the final move. Her eyes widened. Are you serious, Sarah? I didn't expect her to show up. But she did. She stood far in the back, wearing sunglasses and bitterness. She didn't clap, didn't smile. She just watched. And when I kissed Emily, I saw Sarah turn and walk away. That was the moment I realized. I had won. Not just the revenge, but the life she could never have. A real one, with someone who actually cared. And I didn't need to rub it in. She saw it, felt it. That was enough. Emily and I had been living like a real couple for a while. One Sunday morning, while we were having pancakes and laughing over spilled syrup, I pulled out a small box. I nodded. I don't want to waste another day with the wrong person. I want a life with the right one. You. Tears welled up in her eyes as she said yes. We didn't go big. We kept the wedding small, family, a few friends, a beach at sunset. But I did invite one special guest. The ceremony was simple, quiet, and beautiful. No grand ballrooms. No gold-plated invitations. Just the waves crashing softly behind us, close friends and family seated on white wooden chairs, and the sun slowly melting into the ocean. Emily looked stunning. Not in a flashy way, but in a way that said she didn't need to try. Her dress flowed in the breeze, her eyes sparkled with something pure. I had never seen someone look more at peace, more real. When I said my vows, I didn't need to rehearse them. Emily, I've known pain. I've known betrayal. But I've never known loyalty the way I do with you. You showed me that real love doesn't come with price tags or agendas. It just. And with you, I've found everything I didn't even know I needed. She wiped a tear, smiled, and whispered, "Me too." As we exchanged rings, I could feel the last pieces of my past falling away. Every lie, every fake smile, every ounce of bitterness gone. And just as we kissed, I glanced toward the back. Sarah was still there. Alone. She looked older somehow. Not in age, but in wear. Like the bitterness had drained the youth right out of her. She didn't stay long. She left before the reception started, before the music and laughter really kicked in. But her presence had done what it needed to do, complete the circle. That night, Emily and I danced under string lights. My mom gave a toast. My best friend Nate cracked jokes. And everyone talked about how happy we looked together. And we were. Because this wasn't just a celebration of love. It was the rebirth of a life that had nearly been stolen from me. A life I took back. And built better than ever. Marriage didn't magically fix everything, but it gave me a new starting line. Emily and I moved into a quieter neighborhood, away from the drama, away from the memories. We bought a fixer-upper. Painted walls. Built furniture. Planted flowers in the backyard with our own hand. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. Some nights we'd sit outside on the porch with mugs of tea, watching the stars. No noise. No chaos. Just peace. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe. Work got better too. I poured my focus back into the business, and with a clearer head, profits soared. I stopped living like I had something to prove and started living like I had something to protect. One day my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I hope you're happy." No name. But I knew. I showed Emily. She looked at the screen, then at me, and simply said, "Block it." So I did. That chapter was closed. Months turned into a year. We took a trip to Italy. Ate pizza on the streets of Naples. Laughed over wine in Tuscany. We made memories that didn't have any shadows behind them. And when people asked how we met, we'd just smile and say, "It's a long story." Because the truth was, it wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about growth. About healing. About not letting someone else's greed destroy what we had found. Sarah? She faded further into the background. Last I heard, she was bouncing between jobs. Still chasing quick money. Still blaming others for her own choices. But me? I was done chasing. Because real peace isn't loud. It's quiet. Subtle. Steady. And I had finally found mine. If you've made it this far, maybe you're wondering, was it all worth it? The pain, the setup, the drama, the revenge? And I'll tell you, absolutely. Not because I got back at Sarah. But because I learned what real love looks like. I learned that loyalty isn't just a word people toss around, it's something you live. I learned that peace is more valuable than pride. And that healing doesn't always come from justice. Sometimes it comes from starting over with someone who actually sees you. Revenge might have been the spark that lit the fire. But love, that's what kept it burning. Sarah taught me what to run from. Emily taught me what to run toward. So if you've been hurt, if someone has betrayed you, taken you for granted, used you, remember this. You're not broken. You're not weak. And you don't need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes the best revenge is a life so good they choke on the memory of losing it. And that's exactly what I built. If this story moved you, please don't forget to give it a like. And if you love emotional, powerful stories like this one, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, please.